Let me just tell you something. Last time we were up here together, the two of us, we had the assignment for the speaking in that evening service, and Kathy did a wonderful job. She finished up her sharing, turned to me and said, well, you've got 2 minutes left. That's all right. She's capable of filling in the time.
Well, I told my husband, I said, well, if you want to put me up there and ask me about the kings and queens of England and English literature and English history and the Lord of the Rings or whatever, I could talk for a long time. But, because that's, my field. So I was an English teacher. But I was thinking about one topic to talk about, but all that's transpired today made me feel like I need to share just this little bit that I have gleaned from Pastor Robert Morris, and it was so good it fed my soul, so I'm going to share some with you, if that's okay. The text is, the first text is John, Gospel of John, chapter 10, starting with verse 11. I am the good shepherd. This is Jesus talking. He says, I am a shepherd. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd risks and lays down his own life for the sheep. But the hired servant, he who merely serves for wages, who is neither the shepherd nor the owner of the sheep, when he sees the wolf coming, he deserts the flock and runs away. And the wolf chases and snatches them and scatters the flock. Now the hireling flees because he merely serves for wages and is not himself concerned about the sheep. He cares nothing for them. I am the good shepherd, and I know and recognize my own, and my own know and recognize me. So then to Psalm 23. I remember years ago when our kids were little, I didn't have much money, and I taught the children the 23rd Psalm. We memorized it so they could say it for their dad for Christmas. And so Christmas came, and they said the 23rd Psalm for him, and he was real happy about that, and he's really blessed. And then sometime later, maybe a few days later, Jennifer came to him and said, Daddy, I want this or this. And he said, Jennifer, would you tell me the 23rd Psalm? And she said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And so technically that's not what it means when it says I shall not want. It means I shall have no lack, because the shepherd will fill every need. So, but he, let's see. Yeah. In the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, and I'm so glad. He didn't say, I'm like a shepherd. No, he said, I am. I am a shepherd, and I need a shepherd, and so do you. We need a shepherd, and he's the good shepherd, and he's the shepherd who knows all things. What a comforting thought. I love that. So he says, the Lord is my shepherd, this is the Amplified Bible, to feed, guide, and shield me, I shall not lack. He makes me lie down in fresh, tender green pastures. He leads me beside the still and restful waters. He refreshes and restores my life. He leads me in the paths of righteousness, uprightness, and right standing with him, not for my earning it, but for his name's sake. So the first thing that the shepherd is a provider. He provides. He provides everything we need, including he makes me lie down in fresh, tender green pastures. This is talking about rest, which we don't talk about enough, but we need to. We need rest. We really do. And we have to learn to rest, not only just physically, but in our spirit. We need to learn how to rest. Even in the midst of turmoil and storms and whatever, we can go into that place in our spirit and rest. We can have that rest in him. Now, when we come to church, this is one wonderful thing about gathering together. We gather together, and he lets us lay down in green pastures beside still waters, and he brings peace and contentment. When we're singing worship to the Lord and we're all together, it brings us comfort. It brings us peace and rest within. And this is the wonderful thing about being together. I've really missed being here on Wednesday night, and I'm so glad to be able to be here this evening, because it's really important, I think, for us to be together, because the family of God, the people of God, we're called in the Bible. We're called a family. We're called fellowship, and we're called a flock. So, he is our good shepherd, and he calls us together. So we gather together, and we, in each other's presence, we find strength, and we find restoration, peace, and contentment. The third thing under provision is that he leads. He leads us. He provides us with guidance and direction. Pastor Morris said one of the points he made was that you can't drive sheep. They're just not drivable, I guess. You have to lead them, unless you have a team of sheepdogs. But they're really hard to drive into a certain area. But when the shepherd calls, they know the shepherd's voice, and they follow. They come to him. It's really amazing. It's an amazing thing to see and to think about, how the sheep know their shepherd's voice. This is how God made them. And I can't help but think that he made them that way so they'd be a picture for us, an illustration. We can hear his voice and we can follow him. The second thing that our shepherd does is he protects us. Yes, though I walk through the deep, sunless valley of the shadow of death, I will fear or dread no evil, for you are with me, your rod to protect and your staff to guide. They comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my brimming cup runs over. He protects us. He's with us in the battle. That's what this is saying. He's with us in the battle. We face different things in life. Life is difficult at best. And we need to remember that he is with us. He's with us in the battle. And in the battle, we see his rod and his staff, and they bring us comfort. Now, the rod and the staff aren't used to beat the sheep, you know. They're to beat the wolf that comes after the sheep. So we see that his weapon of warfare is a protection for us, figuratively speaking. But he will protect us in the battle. It's amazing sometimes. So one of the advantages of that, or one of the things we can do, is stay really close to the shepherd, right? When he's wielding his rod and staff, stay close to the shepherd. He blesses us in the battle. He prepares a table before us in the presence of our enemies. When we're in the battle, he can feed us. He will protect us. Even you know, I'm thinking about the persecuted Christians around the world right now. There's more persecution going on than there has been for a long, long time. And we need to really pray for these people, but God is with them. But they need prayer. So we need to keep that in our minds. But in the battle, he blesses us. He gives us blessing. The third thing is he refreshes us in the battle. He brings us refreshment. The oil that he anoints us with brings refreshment and strength to us in the battle. And he will teach us in the battle a great many things. Then the third thing, what a wonderful thing to think about. Jesus is our shepherd. I love to think about that because I need him so much, you know. The third thing is in the 23rd Psalm, he promises. He promises. He promises goodness, and he promises mercy will follow us. Now that means, the word follow means actually chase. It means to chase. His goodness and his mercy chase us down and overtake us. Then the third thing, surely or only goodness and mercy and unfailing love shall follow me all the days of my life, and through the length of my days, the house of the Lord and his presence shall be my dwelling place. His presence, his house, for all eternity, to be with our shepherd. It's such a wonderful thought. All this goodness and mercy and blessing in the battle and help in the storm and heaven too. What a deal. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you.